Optimus Prime, the leader of the Autobots, versus the king of the monsters of the Heisei era, Heisei Godzilla. Who would win in a fight between these two monstrous opponents? Now, this has been a topic for quite some time and pulls in a pretty good amount of views from what I've checked. I've heard both sides of the stories on different outcomes, their scalings, all of that. Now, I've never been I always liked Transformers since I was little, but it's been a long time since I last watched them. However, there are a couple of people I know who scale Transformers, so I asked them some questions. They gave me some scales, which I'm going to be using in this video for Optimus Prime scaling. Now, I do want to say they both have kind of agreed on the outcome of this, but you can obviously make a case for the other side, but I'm not going to reveal which one I have winning right now. But I do want to say I might be doing more Transformer takes since I actually have some pretty good scales with them. But I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into the video. So I'm going to first start off with Heisei Godzilla. Now, I've scaled Heisei a lot, so I'm going to basically be using the same arguments I've used for the past couple of videos. Basically stated that if Mothra Leo fought Super Mecha Godzilla, Mothra wouldn't be able to stand up against Super Mecha Godzilla's weapons and his entire arsenal, basically. So that would already put Super Mecha over Mothra Leo in terms of just AP and durability and all that. It's also stated that the only way for Mothra to deal any damage to Mecha Godzilla would be to shrink in size, fly inside of Mecha, and destroy him from the inside. That would be the only way for Mothra to beat Super. After getting the Run Infusion Amp, that increased Heisei Godzilla's power by 71,000 to 461,000 times the power of his past self. He obliterated Mecha Godzilla with the rest power rate. I think it was 5 rest power rates, if I remember correctly. And the power rate is basically stated to be stronger than the standard atomic breath that Godzilla showed throughout the series. In Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, it's basically stated that one cell of Godzilla entered a black hole, was spat out of a white hole, and absorbed exploding stars. And this was calced from solar system to even galaxy level. And obviously this applies to Heisei, as he was able to fight space and even beat him in the end. You can also argue that this black hole feat is 4D. And you might say, for what reason? Well, in the Godzillaverse, I will use Godzilla vs. Megagears as an example. Basically, the black hole was shown to have 4D effects. Now, it's been a little while since I last watched the Heisei movies, but I don't remember that black hole having, 4-dimensional effects. However, the black hole shouldn't change throughout the era at all, so you can argue this 4D, and even King of the Monsters agreed with this. Now, if you don't want to use it, that's completely fine, because there's other ways of getting him to 4D, which wouldn't really matter if you use this feat or not. But basically, Space Godzilla is said to transcend the laws of physics, which would make him 5-dimensional, as the laws of physics would contain stuff like space, time, and the standard 4D dimensions. So transcending it would make you 5D. To make the 5D scaling more consistent is by using Space Godzilla's statement of having supergravity. And if you don't know what supergravity is basically a higher dimensional thing. And for it being high dimensional to the 4D universe, this would, of course, make it 5D. Now, there's also another something I translated, which Godzilla guy actually sent the scan of. I just translated it. It's actually said that Space Godzilla is above all dimensions, which would be another 5-dimensional feat. So overall, we have a bunch of 5D stuff and some multipliers for Heisei Godzilla. But how does Optimus Prime compare to this level of power? Well, for starters, Optimus Prime is able to kill Bone Crusher and can immobilize Barricade, who can evenly match Bumblebee. He's also evenly matched with Megatron, and he shouldn't be that much weaker than the Fallen, who took the explosion of the Star Harvester. And the Star Harvester was capable of blowing up the sun. Optimus' Spark is also said to be more powerful than the Allspark, and the Allspark is basically said to be the most powerful thing in all of creation. And the Allspark also draws power from the singularity that created the universe. And where exactly does the Transformers universe scale? Well, In the Transformers verse, one universe cluster contains infinite possibilities, infinite timelines, and infinite realities, which would make this multiversal plus. Now, we also have the fact that Optimus is stronger than the Devastator, with the data book listing Optimus Prime as a 10 and Devastator as a 5. Fallen is also known as a trans-dimensional being who is above the Allspark and is able to unmake creation at will. Now, as I stated, since the cosmology of the Bayverse would be 4D, aka Multiversal Plus, because of the infinite timelines, realities, and all that. Since Fallen is known as a trans-dimensional being, aka higher dimensional, this would put him at 5-dimensional. We also have the fact that Prime is implied to be able to kill the Fallen, so he scales to the Fallen, and he also rivals Grimlock and was able to overpower him. However, Grimlock likely wasn't at his peak condition at the time of their fight. So overall, we have 5D scalings for both Optimus and Heisei. But who actually would be the winner of this fight? I would give this to Heisei. Now, I know you Optimus fans might be like, no, okay. So here's a common argument I see for Heisei. If Heisei is a planet buster, why doesn't he blow up a planet? Well, for starters, there's a thing called destructive capacity, which applies to every single character in fiction. Destructive capacity is basically how much is your attack? How much can it destroy? What's the area it can destroy? It does not scale to your attack potency. So let's say I have a universal attack power, but I can't blow up a building. Does that make me building level? No, it doesn't. It just means my destructive capacity is a building level. Your destructive capacity will never scale to your AP, so that also debunks nothing. But then you also have the fact that there's other characters out there that have a high, insanely amount of power, but yet never actually destroy something that is far below. I think you guys know what I'm trying to get here, right? Basically, any debunk that kids try and make on Heisei is kind of either irrelevant or just a stupid answer. Now, the reason I have Heisei winning this is because, well, for starters, since space can use infinite amount of energy and absorb it, and Heisei beat him, and also was stated to absorb the energy space used, this would put him infinitely into the 5D tier, while Optimus Prime is only 5-dimensional and not infinitely 5-dimensional unless I'm missing something here. Now, you also have the fact that Heisei has better hacks than Optimus Prime. From what I've asked my friends who scale Transformers, Optimus Prime doesn't exactly have the best hacks. While Heisei has hacks of G-cells adapt to a stressful situation, which will give him superior adaptation or reactive evolution. Heisei has multiple abilities like his atomic breath, his nuclear pulse, and stuff like that. We also, basically just being 5D, automatically use both characters at measurable speed. So they already both have measurable speed, they can both hit each other. Now, Heisei also, Heisei has better multipliers than from Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime doesn't really have any multipliers that I'm aware of. Well, Heisei, as I mentioned earlier, has 71,000 to 460 times, or 61,000 times the power that he previously had, which would be a multiplier for him. There's also a wonky statement of the pulse being 37 times stronger than the atomic breath, but I wouldn't use that because it's more so just the pulse just being spread out through the body, so it doesn't actually upscale the atomic breath at all, so don't really use that. But Heisei scales higher into the 5D tiering than Optimus Prime does, and even if we just put them both at the standard 5D range, Heisei has better multipliers than him, which is why I'm giving Heisei the win. And actually, my friends actually agreed if we just use the 5D meta for both, then yes, they would win. Now, before I do end off the video, I do want to mention one thing. You guys may or may not have seen a hyperversal scale for Bayverse Transformers. The reason being is that there's statements of 17 dimensions existing within the verse. And within one of the movies, they talk about Einstein's space-time theory, which would make, the standard universe is 4D. Vector then states that these 17 dimensions are higher dimensional, which would make them 17D, or aka hyperversal level. But I was talking to my friend earlier, and he said that it's basically under the impression that these are microscopic dimensions. So, and them being quote-unquote high dimensional would just make them kind of like a standard dimension, so it doesn't really scale you anywhere. But then one of my other friends says that, I forgot the argument, but it was basically that they're actually not microscopic dimensions. It's just, they're all implied to be just higher dimensional, just overall. So you can definitely make a case for the 17, the hyperversal argument for Bayverse. I just don't really stand by it. I just don't support it, really. But if you want to, you can use it. The other reason that people use it to get 17D is that it also mentions in one of the books about these dimensions being mathematical, which would put them, obviously, in a hierarchy of them being higher dimensional. But like I said, I don't really vibe with that, and also if we just use this, then he would one-shot Heisei, so which is why I'm both using them at 5D, but I also just don't agree with the 17D meta. But that's what I'm going to do for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in for the next fight, because next week, I'm either going to put up another versus video, or a different type of video. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys later.